Welcome to SueWrongdoers.com. This is your opportunity to find out information and get training and get step-by-step procedures and how to hold officials of all different types to account for their wrongdoing. We did trust them, they did lie to us, they have stolen from us, and they have harmed people, and now they'll pay for their wrongs. If you discover how you can sue official and corporate wrongdoers, you can receive compensation for the wrongs that have been done to you. You as an informed citizen, it's your responsibility to keep the government and corporate officers in check, which means you need to know the law court systems are basically sound, they've just been hijacked. And this system of law, which is supposed to be the guardian of truth, honor, and justice, to facilitate a peaceful, prosperous society, it still operates that way from time to time, but we have to learn how to operate it that way more and more and more. You must do your duty to claim and to reclaim the system of law from the hijackers. To return to the rule of law, you must understand your power. You must use it, and you must use it strategically and properly. To return to the rule of law, private persons of full capacity are required who can read and write, and many people unfortunately have lost that skill to a large degree, and demonstrate full knowledge, full responsibility, and full liability in order to claim and to be acknowledged as a private person of full capacity who is the superior of any officer of the courts or of corporate systems, because all power comes from the private person to those officers. Now, a judge said it. This is a recent decision out of Los Angeles. Blind obedience to a corrupt culture has serious consequences. And this particular judge said this during the sentencing of sheriff's deputies who were in breach of the law, were reported and investigated, prosecuted, and convicted. So I think this principle is becoming more and more enforced and more available to us because it's being enforced, that blind obedience to a corrupt culture has serious consequences. And so far many people within the system are operating in blind obedience, and it's our time to shine the light and take that blindness away and hold them to account. The Canadian Governor General, after he took office in 2011, was quoted as saying in a speech to the Canadian Bar Association, "Lawyers, when I was asked to serve as Governor General of Canada, I had much to learn. Despite my background as a student and professor of law, I had to relearn our Constitution and its conventions, as well as its legal principles. And in doing so, I have developed an even more profound admiration for how precious the rule of law is in our country and how thin and vulnerable its veneer can be." So here we have a guy who was a trained lawyer, practiced as a lawyer, also became a professor of law, and yet when he became Governor General, he had to start all over again to learn the basic principles, because guess what? They aren't really taught in the legal system to lawyers and practiced in the courts as they exist, so he had to relearn it all from scratch. So ending corruption, it is your duty to keep the peace, which also includes reporting wrongs and acting as a witness against wrongdoers. A wrongdoer is anyone who causes harm or threat of harm to any person or property. And a wrongdoer is also any officer who breaks their rules, oaths, acts, regulations, or ethics of their office. They have acted outside their office, therefore they have acted privately, and therefore they are privately liable. So it's your duty to report them when they act incorrectly, in contravention of the law, and to act as a witness against them, otherwise there will be no correction of their behavior. Learn you can do this and how to do it. You can effectively object in the moment when something is happening, and how you can effectively administratively complain to basically report the individual wrongdoer to their superiors for internal acknowledgement that they did wrong and an investigation of the potential wrongdoing and possible internal punishment for that. And whether or not that occurs, you still have the opportunity to make an effective lawful claim at common law for remedy and compensation if required under the circumstances. You do need to be empowered with these beliefs, though. You have to believe that you can do this, and you have to believe it will make a difference, and you have to believe you have a high chance of success, or the likelihood of you pursuing this is very, very slim. So by doing these study and following the case studies that are going to be compiled on SueWrongdoers.com, we hope to develop the belief in you that you can do this, it will make a difference, and that you do have a high chance of success. You have to hold everybody to account, and there is a simple three-step process covered in the program. You'll learn the principles of using the legal systems for your protection and benefit of others, because as you protect yourself from a violator, you are also protecting future people from being violated by that individual as well. So you can take action with private notices, complaints, and claims, and always, always, always follow through. Doing step 1 is going to be no good if you don't go to step 2, and if they expect you not to go to step 3, then they don't have to do anything you say in step 2. So you really have to be prepared to follow through to the end. So why do this? Because your failure to complain is deemed consent, so they get to do it to you again. And what happened to you wasn't a problem in the first place. Your failure to claim means they face no risk or loss, so they will continue to abuse you. Your failure to complain and claim makes you complicit to their wrongdoing. You're actually a witness to a wrongdoing. You didn't report it, so it's partly your fault. Your failure to complain and persist is what they count on 98% of the time. They know that most people won't complain, and if they do complain, they won't persist with their complaint. So they get away with it because they have that expectation and knowledge. Your failure to understand basic court process is what they count on 100% of the time. If you make a complaint and claim and you don't understand basic court process, you will lose because they will trick you in their process to losing. So what will happen if you do not do this, if you do not learn about this and take action? Ultimately, you consent to being taxed to death, because many taxes are unlawful and abuse. You consent to the abuse of your family because they're subject to it as well, past, present, and future. You might carry the shame and guilt of facilitating their wrongdoing, because once you know that you can do something and you know you didn't, you have to live with that. You will live in fear because you know what they can do to you. You are afraid of standing up, and you'll be afraid of doing things that are lawfully your right to do, and that's no way to live. And you'll effectively be a slave, because they will make the rules, they will change them as they see fit, they will tax you until they decide not to tax you, or as much as possible, and you literally have no say in your life or in your society. So what else are you doing that is really more important than taking these people to task and returning the rule of law to our system? So why does it work? Because every officer is bound by ethical codes which they're accountable to. Every officer is bound by acts. Every officer is bound by codes, rules, regulations, policies, and constitutions, and they break them all the time. Every officer is bound by oaths. Many officers don't have those oaths, which is a breach of the law. Every officer is required to be bonded. That's one of the places you can seek your compensation from, but you will also access their private property, because they're privately, personally liable without coverage of insurance if they have been proven to acted outside their office. And they violate almost all of the above, so it's easy to have lots of complaints which you can pursue. But in order to do that, you have to end your fear of politics, religion, courts, legal system, and police. They're all just men and women doing a job with lots of rules, limitations, and liability on how they must do that job. And because they're just men and women in a uniform with a title, they're subject to the same rule of law that we all are, and they have the same fears of being persecuted, or prosecuted for their persecution of people. Their liability really only begins when you report, complain, and claim that their actions broke their rules and or the rule, and they caused you harm and you want action taken. So how can Sue Wrongdoers help you? We help you understand the big picture. We help you learn the strategies of success. We help you learn the rules of winning. We help you with experienced lay litigants who have been there, done that, and can tell you what can happen and what will happen more than likely, and how to stand there and hold your ground. They're speaking in plain, common sense English to you, not legalese. Usually, most of what we teach is tested and applied court process. Some is a little more cutting edge, but we don't want to teach any unproven theories or unprincipled theories. A resource of others' efforts and results will be taking case studies from literally around the world as people apply this information, so you can learn from their successes, their procedures, their paperwork. And maybe we'll even empower insiders to help, because many insiders will become aware of the fact that these actions are taking place, the complaints are taking place, and they will be empowered to stand up and act as witnesses in order to assist us in correcting the system that they know is out of whack and needs to be corrected. So we can empower the insiders to do the right thing. What will Sue Wrongdoers offer? We have 3 levels of membership at the moment. Study members access step-by-step training that is written and audio and webinars for you to watch. There is virtually no support with that, and just minor support with that. Serious members will access special recorded coaching calls with live actions that are taking place right now. And they'll have email support, and there'll be additional training for the serious members because they're proactively applying the information. And the full capacity members will access live group coaching calls where we'll be going over present actions, brand new processes, etc. And these are really the frontline members who are exercising their full capacity, going out and making a difference by walking in and expecting people to follow the law, showing them the law, and then going through the process completely. And special one-on-one private coaching is available if full capacity members want it for their own particular situation and their own particular paperwork. So the whole thing is going to be designed for easy access, simplified teaching process, action-oriented, and affordable for all. This really is about how do we make it as simple, principle-based as possible, step-by-step information in as short a learning time frame as possible as well. Well, what you do after you hear this, many people will do nothing, go away, that's fine. Many people will whine and go away, that's fine. And many people will continue to study, and that's fine, but we want to get out of study mode into application mode. Maybe you'll act with some of the information you hear from this, but it's probably going to be haphazard with less results because you haven't learned it well enough to apply it properly. You could also join SueWrongdoers.com and learn the information in a structured, principled manner that will give you the better chance to act in the right way, the most effective and efficient way. And you can act strategically, intelligently with the information in order to help you follow through and win as quickly as possible. And then as a member of Sue Wrongdoers, sharing your results to help others so they can learn from your experience, be empowered to do their own actions, and also facilitate the growth of people doing this. The more people that take action and hold these people to account, the less likely they will be to continue their unlawful actions against us, because they never know the next one that's going to lay a claim against them. Or if you start saying the right things the right way, they're going to recognize you're one of those people who's going to follow through, and they will not abuse you in the same way. So the focus is focused on principles, well understood circumstances, good strategic actions, proper implementation, fully lawful and peaceful, and it's the moral high ground. We try and take the position where it's unassailable what we're doing. They can't say anything wrong about what we're doing because we're doing everything the right way for the right reasons. And that is the most powerful package to help you win. So who can you sue? Whoever harmed you. Any CRA or IRS, police, judges, accountants, lawyers, politicians, corporate executives, bank employees, court registry staff, church officers. These are all offices that are presently operating in a corrupt fashion from time to time, if not very often, and there's lots of opportunity. Of course, there are more, but these are some of the key ones that are responsible for, I think, the situation our societies have fallen into. What is Sue Wrongdoers? Teach and facilitate the awareness of your power of complaints and claims to hold government and corporate officers accountable. Step-by-step simplified processes on using lawful process, what to do and how to do it. If you understand your power, your rights, and the correct process, you can get justice. They fear well-evidenced, clearly drafted complaints and claims holding them to account. That's what we're going to be helping you to produce. So there's no minimal to none legal theories, using proven principles of law, using proven principles of court process, nothing fancy, nothing bizarre, nothing they can complain about, written and spoken to in a respectful and honorable manner. Again, don't give them an excuse to go off on you and do anything unlawful. Expectation of a common law court of record and honorable treatment in response. When you walk in with that attitude, you're going to get it. So Sue Wrongdoers, it's time for accountability. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is get ready to know the law. Get set and how to complain properly and effectively, and then go and how to make your claim at the court level in order to get your compensation. So it's time for accountability. Join up with Sue Wrongdoers, and it is a donation-based membership system. The information is below, and invite all your friends. Let them know this is available. Some will, some won't, so what? It's time for the action takers who are ready to take these people to account to move forward in the right way, in the most effective and most efficient way, in order to get accountability and compensation for harms that you've received. We look forward to seeing you on the inside of SueWrongdoers.com.